Hi YouTube friends, it's Diaper Kiddo Jason, and this week's video is going to be a little backwards because I started filming earlier in the week and forgot to film an introduction. So it is Friday and I'm going to be uploading the video today, but I'm filming the intro today and then we're going to rewind the week and I will talk to you over the course of the week and then we'll come back to close today. This week's video is a little different. It was a good week. It was a really good week. I got to spend some time with my mom, which I'll talk about, and we got to go to a concert, which I'll talk about. And then I've got something really, really cool to show you at the end of the video. So I will see you in just a moment, and in a moment, magically, through the power of editing, it's going to be earlier in the week. Hi YouTube. We are taking a dog walk and Domino's here. She's having fun. I'm just filming this because I think the lighting out here is really cool right now. Like, it's all kind of silvery and the grass is really, really green. So this is my neighborhood. I love this big field that's right behind our apartment. So a lot of times after dark we'll come out with Domino and throw her glow-in-the-dark ball. She has a lot of fun. So this is my very pretty neighborhood. This is the back of the apartment buildings. And I like this community a lot. Like, we're really happy living here. They're very dog friendly. They have these little bird houses and trash cans, and the bird houses all have dog bags in them so that you can pick up after your dog. And we just got done coming back from the dog park, which is right behind me. And I'm getting all tangled up in Domino's cord. Come on. Domino. Come on. And the sky is really cool right now. So we are headed back to our apartment though, and we are gonna have a nice quiet evening because tomorrow is our Sam Smith concert. So we're going to be taking my mom to that, and she's a big Sam Smith fan, so this should be a lot of fun for her. But I just thought you might enjoy a little glimpse of my neighborhood that I live in. We have this really cool, I don't know how this is going to pick up. There's a lamp post over there, and I so badly, every time I see it, think of Narnia. So that's my neighborhood. I love this neighborhood. It's very cool and calm out here right now. The breeze is blowing really good. But I just thought you might like a little tour of our backyard, our giant, enormous backyard. So now we're gonna go back in the apartment and we're gonna settle in for the night. I still haven't eaten anything, so I'm really hungry. I cut my hair today, again. And I cut it too short by accident because when I took my glasses off I thought I had the number 2 guard for my shaver and I had the number 1. So it's really short. But we are back in our apartment, so we're gonna go inside and settle in for the night. So I will see you again soon. Hi again YouTube. So today is now Thursday, and yesterday was a really big day for us. I didn't do any video updates because I was spending the day with my mom. There's another dog in the dog park. Domino is scandalized. But, come on. Ugh. Sorry. But yesterday was a really fun day for us. I went out to my mom's house, which is like an hour away, to pick her up, and then I brought her back to our apartment. And then after my husband got off work, we drove to Orlando, Florida, which is about an hour and a half away, to go see our Sam Smith concert that we had tickets for. And it was a lot of fun. When we got to Orlando, we first ate like a late lunch or early dinner at a restaurant called Hamburger Mary's, which is a really nice downtown sort of like upscale hamburger restaurant. Like they do other stuff too, pot roast, and they do chicken pot pie, and they do shepherd's pie and things like that, but it's mostly hamburgers. And the cool thing about Hamburger Mary's, my daughter's weird, but the cool thing about Hamburger Mary's is it's also a drag bar on weekends, I think. And so it was really cool. It was very LGBT friendly. And my mom was kind of disappointed because she was hoping that there would actually be drag queens there, and there weren't because it wasn't like the day for it. But we did have a lot of fun, and afterwards my mom and I walked back to the car to put some stuff away and get some stuff, and my husband waited in line outside of the venue. And unfortunately my mom fell. Like, she tripped over a piece of sidewalk and fell and scraped her knee really badly. But that was like the only bad thing about yesterday. Like, everything else was really good and fun. Like, every 10 steps she has to just roll in the grass. But it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Unfortunately, after the concert was over, we had to rush back home because my husband had to work today. He wasn't able to get today off, so he had to go in very early this morning. Like, he had to be there, I think, 7 a.m. And when we got back from Orlando, it was 2 a.m. and he had to go to sleep and then get up and go to work. So that was kind of lousy, but that was the only bad thing, other than my mom falling. But it was a really good day. I enjoy spending time with my mom. Like, I don't talk about her a lot on my channel, obviously, but she's like my best friend. Like, I get along so well with her. We have so much in common. So we had a really, really good time yesterday. Everything about it was just awesome. My mom spent the night last night, and then today, after Domino woke me up at 8 a.m., I ended up taking her back home, and I've spent the rest of the day just kind of exhausted here at home. But it was a really, really great day. I didn't film anything with yesterday just because I was hanging out with my mom, but it was a great day. Like, I kind of needed that, and unfortunately my husband's paying for it today. He is so exhausted, and he had such a bad day at work. He's still at work, actually. He's been there for 12 hours now, over 12 hours, because it's a little after 7 now. But once he gets home, I'm hoping he can maybe take tomorrow off and just kind of rest. But if not, I'm just going to make sure he goes to bed early tonight and gets some sleep. But that's my update for today. Like, again, I kind of wish that I had been able to film some stuff yesterday, but I wasn't really in the position to do so. But I'm going to continue to update, and then I will hopefully post a video probably tomorrow afternoon. Like, I want to film somewhere tonight and just kind of talk to you guys. But hopefully I'll be able to post something tomorrow afternoon. I have something really cool to show you later. So that's my update for now. Alright, YouTube friends, so that was a taste of my week. It was a really relaxing week. I had a good week. The big surprise that I wanted to show you is my new jammies that came this week. I'm so pleased with these. So they have a Japanese character named Doraemon, who is like the most popular like anime character in Japan. Hasn't really made it much outside of, well, hasn't really made it big in America, but is the biggest anime character in Japan. It's a super cute children's cartoon. And I got familiar with this character when I was living in New Zealand. And I saw these jammies on no, not Amazon, eBay. I found these on eBay, again, like with my other jammies that I had in my big video of little clothes, I found these by searching for Korean couples pajamas. And I saw these and I absolutely had to own them. So this is one of two sets, and this one came in a lot earlier than the other one, which hasn't come yet. This was a lot faster than I actually expected it to be. But they're super, super, super cute. And fit me like really well. Like they're roomy, there's plenty of room. They're very lightweight, they're comfortable, not too hot, which is great because it's been a million degrees in Florida lately. But I did want to talk to you guys a little bit. And I filmed last night before I went to bed, and I was super tired. Yesterday, Domino woke me up at like 8 a.m. after only about 5 hours of sleep. And I filmed at 2 a.m. last night. So I wasn't super coherent. And I decided that I probably needed to refilm what I had filmed. What I wanted to talk to you guys about this week, and this isn't going to be like a super long video, probably, but what I wanted to talk to you guys about was the idea of appropriate spaces for displaying your AB side, or your little side, or your DL side, or what have you. And it was prompted by something that happened that I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because, like, I don't want to start any drama or cause anybody a problem. But the long and the short of it is that a content creator created content that was AB in nature in public, in a public space. And, like, that really bothers me. I don't want to get preachy or anything like that. But I do want to talk about it because it really does bother me. Like you guys know, you've watched enough of my videos probably at this point to know that I feel like everybody should embrace who they are and be their authentic self. And that you shouldn't feel guilt or shame for being an AB or a DL or a little or an age player, anything like that. But there are appropriate times and places, and then there are inappropriate times and places. And going into a public space and being dressed in very age inappropriate clothing, you know, looking like a toddler or a baby, in a situation where other people could potentially see that, I really don't feel like that's okay. Like, you know, I don't want to tell anybody what they can and can't do, but I wouldn't do that. Just because... I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. I'm older than a lot of my viewers, and I know that. Like, I'm in my late 30s. 40 is rapidly approaching. And that's a topic for a totally different video that I want to do for you guys in the future. What being an AB and getting older is doing to me. And my mental state and my emotional well-being, you know, how I'm handling it and things like that. But... you know, I am older than a lot of my viewers, and I'm sure that I probably have viewers that are, you know, much older than I am, and thank you so much for watching, and, you know, welcome to my channel. Like, you guys are awesome for being you, so, but a lot of my viewers who are, you know, in their early 20s or whatever, don't remember what life was like pre-internet. But I do. Like, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, when I was a young teenager, the internet wasn't the widely available, you know, open platform that it is now. And, like, I knew that I was an AB, or an ABDL, or, you know, that I had an interest in diapers far earlier than I knew that I was gay. You know, it was something that I was dealing with when I was just a little guy. And I always felt like that made me different, and it made me strange, and that I was never going to fit in with everybody, and that there was like something mentally wrong with me. And growing up here in the South, you know, when I was a kid, we went to Southern Baptist churches. And, you know, for those of you guys who might not be familiar with, you know, Christianity in America, the Southern Baptists are very, very conservative, and as a congregation, very anti-LGBT, and they're very, very hellfire and brimstone. And that messed with my head a lot when I was a kid, because I thought, there was something really wrong with me, just for the fact that I, wanted to wear diapers and I enjoyed them so much. And I thought that it was going to like make me go to hell or something. Not that there's like a commandment in the Bible, thou shalt not don diapers past a certain age or anything, but I was different anyway. And then, as a teenager, discovering my sexuality made it so much worse, because this church preaches that, homosexuals are an abomination. And so when I was a kid, before the internet, like when I was a young teenager, there were no resources, there was no place for me to go to identify with other people like me. I thought, and as naive as it is to say, I thought that I was the only person in the world who, liked diapers, and what's wrong with me? And so the only time that it ever came up pre-internet that I can remember was every flipping daytime talk show always had one episode, like a season, that was dedicated to, freaks in diapers, basically. And it was always really cringy, and it was like, the episode was titled, I'm an adult baby and my wife is my mommy and changes my diapers, or something like that. And these episodes were always edited in such a way to make it just as horrifying and bizarre and cringy as possible. They wanted to deliberately shock and scandalize and titillate their audiences, and that's how they got people to watch. It was the precursor to the modern day YouTube cringe channels. And, that was not a great reference point for somebody who was growing up with unconventional desires. And every single talk show did it. I know Phil Donahue did it. I think Geraldo did it. I know Maury Povich did it. Oh my God, Jerry Springer. I think Sally Jesse Raphael did it. Just all of these different, talk shows. Dr. Phil did it. More recently. Always had like that one really awful episode where it was just some really, I hate to just say cringy again, but cringy guy that was just like a sexual deviant and was presented that way on the show. And they were deliberately edited to make the person look as awful as possible. And that was the only reference point that I had as a kid, that I knew that there were other people in the world who liked this stuff. But they were always, terrifyingly gross people that showed up on talk shows. And then with the coming of the internet, early on, there was one single resource, there was one single place that represented ABDLs and age players, which was a website called dpf.com. It went by a couple of acronyms. It was Diaper Pail Fraternity, and then it was Diaper Pail Friends. And this was like the one and only thing that existed on the internet, aside from some like questionable message boards. And while I respect it for what it represented at the time, it wasn't something that I could very well identify with. The website, like the images that came from that website, would certainly be cringy in modern parlance. It was, usually pictures like low resolution. I just got a phone notification, sorry. But it was usually like really low resolution pictures, really kind of seedy, kind of questionable looking pictures that looked like they could have come from like a porno magazine in the 70s, of significantly older men. And it wasn't something that I, as a young person at the time, could really identify with. And so I started to create content very early on, as an adult. Like, I never did anything like that when I was a kid, but very early on the internet, I started to create content, pictures of myself that I put out there. And like, even though it's only been in recent years that I've really been able to kind of identify and accept the fact that I'm an AB, that I am an adult baby, at the time I couldn't accept that. I would tell people, oh no, I'm a DL, I'm a diaper lover, it's just a weird fetish. And a lot of that, I think, a lot of that, I think, had to do with the fact that my only reference point for what an AB was, what an adult baby was, were, awful talk shows and, pictures of people that were much older than me and, that were a little questionable, and I couldn't really identify with that. And it made me very self-conscious for a very, very long time. Even well into late modern day. And like I said, it was only been a few years now that I've really been able to accept my AB side because of, my reference points that I had. I didn't feel like that represented me. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust. But I didn't feel like that represented me very well. And so I started to create this content, and it was pictures of me, as a young 20-year-old, 21-year-old, dressed up in, AB attire and, things like that, or, just in a diaper and things. And I put that out on the internet because I wanted other people to see that, it wasn't just one type of person, and I wanted other people to identify with the content that I was creating. And I have to be honest, like, when I was putting together my website, diaperkiddo.com, and I was putting together the gallery, I went through all of my old pictures to, kind of take some selections from over time to put on the website. And looking at my old pictures, I was cute as hell, man. I was cute. Like, smash. Like, I don't know what happened, because I used to be really cute. Again, aging sucks, but I was, young, and, I had really clear skin, and I was skinny. Like, I was just, like, scrawny. And I don't have that problem anymore. I've put on a lot of weight since then, but my pictures were really cute, and that's not ego talking. For the time, that was, like, I don't know of anybody else that was doing what I was doing. And I can't tell you guys how many times over the years, and, like, over the past, like, decade and whatever, that I've had people that I've been talking to who saw a picture of me and then recognized me because my pictures that I was putting on the internet way too many years ago to actually say the number, were the first ones that they saw that they could identify with. And, I mean, it's happened so many times that people, reach out to me and realize who I am and are like, oh my god, your pictures were the first ones on the internet that I ever saw that made me feel like I was, like, normal, and that there were other people out there like me. Which is why I did it, that's why I did it. And so, like, I want to show that being an AB or a DL or a little or an H player or whatever is a perfectly normal thing. It's not ever going to be mainstream, which, I mean, who wants to be mainstream? But, there's nothing wrong with that. You can be little, or you can be an AB, or you can be a DL, and still lead a normal life and, work and have a home life. I've got a great extended family that I'm very close to. Until recently, I was an excellent employee, when I still had a job, before I decided to quit. I was a great employee. I worked so hard. We've built a great life for ourselves, and we're very fortunate. I'm so blessed. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, I didn't have any illusions that, being an ABDL was ever going to be something mainstream. But I did want other people who identified that way to feel like they weren't alone, because I did, and it sucked. I mean, it was so hard. It did a psychological number on me. And I don't want anybody else to feel that way. And thank God we live in a day where there are companies that design products for us, and that, you know, there have been media representations of us that have been fair and didn't go out of their way to make us look like just awful people, you know, creepy fetishists or whatever. Baby Mitchie, who's a YouTuber that I like a lot, and I really respect his content. And he works so hard on it, and he has been contributing to this community for so long. He did a television show for MTV that was spotlighting 3 adult babies and, you know, what was going on in their lives. And that was one of the first times that I've really seen a television show not try to, you know, be cringe content. You know, I mean, the producers certainly sensationalized some of the things that were going on and exaggerated it through editing and things like that, but there was no judgment, you know. And there's been documentaries, and you know, I think that, you know, it's more out in the sunlight than it used to be. And because of that, just like with everything else, it's less creepy. You know, as a community, we have fought the whole pedophilia association since day one, you know. And to this day, I mean, people assume that because we like diapers, that means that we like little people in them. And it's like, no, you're not getting it at all. That is so not the case. Frankly, in general, I don't like kids. You know, I want to be a kid. I don't want to hang out with kids. They're gross, but I want to be one. So, you know, the perception of, you know, what we enjoy and that it might have something to do with actual children, that's been something that we have been fighting against forever. And so the content creator that started this, you know, with me wanting to talk about this, created content in an open place that other people, like non-AB people, could potentially, you know, see that content and see what this person was doing. And like, I don't feel like that's really appropriate, because that really kind of creates a negative perception, you know, when you're exposing yourself in that way in a public setting. You know, you're not giving the people around you the opportunity to consent to witnessing what you're doing. And a good example of what I'm talking about is with the furry community. Like, everyone knows that, like, furries are the butt of every internet joke. Like that is the, like, bottom tier fandom, unfortunately. And even within the furry community, like, there's like a pecking order. And for one reason or another, the baby furs are like at the bottom rung of the furry community. Like, everybody gives them so much crap. And that's not fair. And it's so judgmental. And like, the justification is that supposedly at different furry conventions, on occasion, there's been a baby fur that was, you know, walking around in the convention space in like a diaper with a pacifier. Or like, there was this, like, I don't even know, urban legend that at one of the biggest furry conventions that a baby fur like defecated in their diaper in an elevator and like was grossing everybody out, and that's why everybody hates baby furs. And it's like, that's so not fair. That is so not fair. That is so judgmental and so just stereotyping, you know. But unfortunately, whether or not that even happened, and I don't know if it did, I'm not a furry, but my husband sort of is, like, mostly is, and a lot of his friends, which we're mutually friends with, are furries and baby furs, and so I know a lot of baby furs. And so many of these people that I'm friends with on the internet, when they go to a convention, they don't feel comfortable in any way making it known that they're a baby fur, because they're that particular subgroup of furries gets so much grief and ostracization, and it's not fair that that's how they're treated. But these people don't feel comfortable even wearing like artwork badges of their characters, because then they're associated with baby furs, and they don't want that kind of grief and drama. And so my feeling on it is that if you're a content creator, like I am, or any of the other YouTubers that I love, or if you're putting pictures of yourself, don't put yourself in a public space where other people can, see what you're doing and not have the appropriate context to understand why you're doing it. Because if, for example, if I was like a nudist, we'll use this as an example. If I was a nudist and that was my lifestyle, it wasn't like a fetish, I wasn't getting off on it, but I felt more comfortable naked than clothed. And that was my lifestyle. And I went into a public space, I went to church, or I went shopping in a department store somewhere or something like that without wearing clothes. Whether or not it is a sexual thing for me, people are going to see that and assume that I'm some sort of a flasher. And I hate to see that happen in any situation. Like, I wish that we could all just be ourselves in public all the time, just be who we are, and nobody be judgmental about it. But that's not what really happens. And so, unfortunately, living in a society, you have to be respectful of the people around you. And sometimes that means that you have to filter your behavior. And, like, to me, there are certain things that are appropriate in a public space, and there are certain things that aren't. There are certain things that are appropriate in a private space that are not appropriate in a public space. For example, and pardon the adult content that's coming, but spending time in your bedroom with the door shut or in your bathroom masturbating, I see nothing wrong with. You do you, boo-boo. Doing that in front of a kindergarten, inappropriate. You know that, I know that, we all know that. So, wearing AB clothes in a public setting and potentially making other people around you uncomfortable, like, I don't feel like that's okay. Like, I don't feel like you should have to cater to everyone else all the time and do everything you can to make everyone else comfortable at the sacrifice of your own identity at all. But I do feel like there are certain limits to what's okay. And, when you cross that line, even if you're not doing it for like a sexual, public exposure, humiliation, whatever fetishy reason, people are going to see it and think that's what it is, and to me that's shining a negative light on something that really isn't anybody else's business. I mean, a few weeks ago I did a video, and the first part of my video I filmed on my patio in broad daylight, and I wasn't wearing pants, I was wearing a diaper, and did my introduction to my video and then came in. And I did that in part because I wanted to see how this camera, my new camera, was going to do in daylight as opposed to in the dark cave that we live in. But in part it was because I wanted to give you guys a change of scenery, and it was a really pretty day, and I wanted to do something like that, but I was so careful to make sure that there was nobody around. My patio is enclosed on 3 sides, and like, if there had been any potential that another human being would have seen me out there like that on my own patio in my own space, I wouldn't have done it, because I think that that's just disrespectful. And I think that there are like limits too. Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of times where people will go to Disneyland and they're wearing their pacifier around their neck, and they're wearing cute shortals or something, and like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't think that that's quite the same thing as going to a children's park in broad daylight dressed like a baby. Like, I think there's just degrees of okayness, and I mean, if you're wandering around a theme park, dressed in very youthful looking clothes, but you're not being over the top with it, and I guess that's okay. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't give me the same creepy vibe for some reason as going to a place designated for children dressed, in very age inappropriate apparel, because my concern is that somebody's going to drive by, or some kids are going to be riding by on their bicycle and see you, and the assumption is going to be that you are some sort of creepy pedophile person. And we've had to fight that for too long. We've had to fight that perception for too long. That I don't want that to be the thing that people go to, because if somebody has a single bad experience with a type of person, because of human nature and because of the way that we are, they're going to assume every time they encounter that type of person that they're going to have the same experience. And so I feel like it's important to keep certain things private. It's certainly express yourself in every way. Be yourself, absolutely. But be mindful of the people around you. And I feel like as a member of society, it is everyone's responsibility to not go out of their way to make somebody else uncomfortable. And there's a line there. There certainly is. And I'm not the arbiter of where that line is. And I'm certainly not the person to decide what constitutes art and what doesn't. But I do think that every situation needs to be considered. And I don't want to go into a lot of detail about the content creator that I'm talking about, because I don't want to start any drama. And part of the reason why I'm reshooting this today is because I feel like I gave too much information when I was recording last night. And I don't want this person to receive any particular backlash. I voiced my opinion and I wasn't nice about it, to the point that I feel bad about how not nice about it I was. But it does make me uncomfortable, and that's just me. That's the way that I feel about it. My opinion is not the gold standard or anything like that. But I want so badly for people to feel comfortable with who they are. And creating and perpetuating negative stereotypes about what ABs are and what ABDLs are, I don't feel like that's healthy for anybody. So that's sort of like my rant, I guess, or not even rant, because I certainly don't want to give that impression, but my issue du jour, I guess, for this week. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, but I'm very, very pleased with my jammies. And you guys can't really see, but oh, I don't want to drop my tripod. Okay, these are super, super, super cute. They're really comfy. They're really lightweight. I probably paid more than I wanted to. I think they were $20. But it's so worth it. I love my new jammies. I can't wait for the next pair to come in. I'm trying to think what else I want to cram into the very end of this video. I've been watching a lot, a disturbing amount of YouTube lately. And one of my very favorite YouTubers is Mac Does It. And I'll try to remember to post a link in the description to his channel. He's so funny, guys. Go watch Mac Does It. Oh my god. He's making me gayer with every episode that I watch. He is just absolutely one of the most funny YouTube comedians, out there. And every one of his videos, he ends with like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ha! I can't do that sound he makes, but, I'm not going to end this video with like, share, comment, and subscribe, like so many YouTubers do. I never want you guys to feel pressured into, promoting my channel or anything like that. That's not the point of this channel. But I would like for you to comment this week, because all of the big YouTubers that I like and respect have names for their subscribers, and Drew Gooden has his little stinkers, and yeah, I love that idea. So I want you guys to think of names for what you guys want to be called, and that's my way of goading you into commenting this week. You probably won't, that's okay, but if you have a good idea for what you guys want to be called, let me know in the comments below. And that's going to be my video for this week. I have a long list that I've made of different topics that I want to talk to you guys about in the coming weeks. I'm trying so hard to stick to a Friday posting schedule. It hasn't really worked out this week, and like this morning when I got up, I was ready to edit my content from last night and put together this video, and then my husband wanted to go out and get brunch, and so we did that, and then we went shopping, and by the time we got home, it was like after 4 p.m., which is when I wanted this video to be up. So I really am trying, but going forward, you know, I want to do as best I can a weekly posting schedule. And I'm going to try to make it be on Fridays. I'm going to try to have my videos up by 4 p.m. We have already blown past 4 p.m. this week, honey, but I'm going to try to do that. So keep an eye on my channel, and definitely let me know if you have any cute names for my community of fans. Oh my god, no, like, that's so egotistical, stop. My subscribers, people that actually want to watch my channel, like, if you guys have a name that you guys want to be called, please let me know in the comments below. As always, you can always reach out to me, jason@diaperkiddo.com, or you can message me through my website, which is www.diaperkiddo.com. I always post my videos up there, so you can follow my videos there. You can check out my photo galleries and see exactly how cute I used to be before I got old. And that's going to be it for this week. So Domino is in the living room with my husband, but you guys already got to see her a little bit this week. So until next week, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I so mean that. Like, you guys are wonderful. That's why I want to give you a name, because like so many of you guys have reached out to me over these past few weeks where I've been just alternately depressed and angry about my lack of a job. You guys have been so super supportive. Like, you know, I may not have a huge follower base like some YouTubers do, but you guys are really awesome. Like, I wish I could give every single one of you a hug, you know, in real life. Like, I mean that. So feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you guys next week, Friday by 4 o'clock, maybe, hopefully. Bye guys, see you next week.